Sometimes on this journey, we hold on to the past for a lot longer than we need to. We play out the victim role in the circumstances because we're not quite ready to take responsibility yet for our actions, perhaps. Sometimes we torture ourselves and berate ourselves for a past version of ourselves in the now moment, and that's madness in itself, and it causes a lot of pain. So if you find yourself bringing the past into the now and judging yourself for it now, even when you're a totally different person, then I think this is probably the video for you. So here are 5 signs that you are holding on to the past longer than you need to. This is a healing journey in itself, isn't it? And as we let go of the past, we become more present in this now moment. The only reason we're bringing the past into this now moment is because it holds some value for us, and we'll go into this a little bit in a moment. It's a choice, whether you believe it or not. We're choosing to bring the past into this now moment because we believe that it serves us somehow. And we need to find out why that is, but we'll get to that at the end. For now, the first reason why you might be unfairly holding yourself in a past state of mind and holding on to the past for longer than you need to is that you unfairly torture yourself with it. You dangle your past almost like an inner vision or an inner visual. Images of the past will pop up in your consciousness and you'll continually keep bringing them up as if to torture yourself with it, almost like perhaps there's a feeling inside that you deserve it, and of course you don't. You're a totally new person now. And the past does have some relevance, but only from the lessons that we learn from it. You know that. You're learning the lessons from your past. And that's why it doesn't have any relevance now, because you've changed so much, yet you're still keen on torturing yourself unfairly with it. And that's the first sign that you are torturing yourself. The first sign that you're holding on to the past longer than you need to is that you're using it as like a torture device for you. Second sign is that you keep getting flashbacks. You keep getting flashbacks perhaps in dreams or perhaps in your waking life. Visuals come up in front of you, popping up, obviously not externally, internally in your consciousness. You keep getting flashbacks and reminders of how you were in the past, how you, of past experiences where you weren't your best self or where somebody wasn't their best self to you, And we play this victim to these flashbacks, and it's this aspect that we're trying to change. We're trying to take responsibility for this now moment and realise that actually the past or these flashbacks have no relevance now apart from the lessons that they've taught me. Another sign that you're holding on to the past, and this is a big one, for longer than you need to, is that when these flashbacks come up or when you torture yourself with these mental images, they sting. Sometimes we're reminded, sometimes it's just a smell or somebody reminds us or something happens in our external world that takes us back, right back to where we were before, when we were either being abused or we were the abuser in a situation. And this inner sting comes over us as these flashbacks come up, and we draw into them and judge ourselves in this moment for these flashbacks that again have no relevance for us now apart from the relevance that we're ascribing to them. And that relevance, the sign that you're holding on to this pain, to the past for too long, is the pain. There's the sign, the pain. That's the relevance that we're giving these flashbacks, that sting. We're in control of all of it. It's a total choice. The flashback could just come up and sweep past our consciousness, but we're intent on getting involved, aren't we? And as soon as we do, we judge ourselves in that moment. Our hearts drop, this inner sting, this inner cringe goes through our body as we become that same person again in this moment, even though we're a totally different person and we don't need to abuse ourselves like that anymore. That is a huge sign that you're holding onto your past for longer than you need to. Another sign that you're holding onto your past way longer than you need to is that you carry these old stories of an old version of you in your mind. Let's say you did something bad in your past. Perhaps you cheated on somebody, or perhaps you were emotionally abusive or controlling or manipulative, or perhaps somebody abused you or whatever. We tell ourselves these stories in our minds about it. For example, you're such a bad person. You're such a bad person. You're the worst person in the world. This mind will be very aggressive with it. And it's interesting, really, because we had a friend that started speaking to us like that. It's almost like they wouldn't be friends for very long with us, would they? We'd kick them out of our lives. Yet we do it to ourselves. We tell ourselves these stories based upon who we were before in this now moment. So we bring the past into the now and keep this rhetoric up in our mind. It's like nothing's changed. But everything's changed because you're a totally different person, and it's not fair for you to keep judging yourself based upon the actions of your past. If you've learnt the lessons, you're free. You're a different person. Stop carrying these old stories in your mind because they cause us harm. They make us judge our now experience based upon an experience in the past, bringing the past into the now, even though we're not really. But do you see what I mean? Another sign that you're holding on to the past longer than you should be is that, like I said, you judge yourself now based upon the person that you once were, based upon your past actions. What relevance does the past have in this moment? I'm just here. I'm sat in front of a camera, expressing the things, for example, I'm just using my example, expressing things to help people. And for example, if you're a light worker, you're doing the same stuff, you express things to help people. How is that in any way the same as the person that you were before? We don't want to neglect the past. We're not saying by dropping the past we're neglecting the past, because it is what created you. Your past perhaps is that darkness, that dark mud, that spiritual mud that allows the beautiful flower to grow. And you're that beautiful flower now. And if not the beautiful flower, you're at least germinating and sprouting and growing out to be this flower. So why are you judging the flower upon the actions of the mud? It doesn't make sense. And we need to set ourselves, we don't need to, it's your life, you do what you want, but we're setting ourselves free from that. And if we're not setting ourselves free from that, and we're still gripped, and we're still identified with being the mud rather than the flower that we are now, then there's a sign that we're holding on to our past and abusing ourselves with it much longer than we need to. We don't have to abuse ourselves at all with it. Some people carry these wounds for years. Some people start these wounds out in childhood and carry them on till their old age, till into their old age. I know it through my granddad. He did that. And it makes you a very, well, it's a sad life, you know, and we are changing our lives. We're taking the initiative to really change inside, to dive deep and heal these wounds. And the wounds won't go if we keep bringing the wounds up in front of our consciousness and toying with our psyche with it. Because it's just not fair. You're not that person anymore, and if you are doing these things, you're holding on to your past longer than you need to. Bear in mind, we're choosing to do this. We're choosing to put these images up in front of ourselves. Perhaps in us, there's a belief, not perhaps, definitely, you believe that it serves you to do this, if you are doing this. If you're not doing this, why you're on this video. But there's a belief in you that this serves you by bringing up your past, by torturing yourself, by creating that inner guilty state, which is totally low vibration, by the way. It's just going to attract to you more negativity, and if that's happening in your life, then that's a sign you're holding on to the past longer than you need to. It is a choice. So choose not to. Get in front of that thought in your consciousness. Get in front of that mental image. Or if the mental image comes up, don't do the worst thing which you can do and fight against it. Just let it be a visitor, a player. in your consciousness. Ask yourself, because you're doing this because you think it serves you somehow. Ask yourself, why do I believe that this serves me? Why does this serve me? And of course, you'll see that it doesn't. But you might find that there's a belief in there. A belief, for example, like I deserve to be punished, or whatever it is for you. And of course, it's nonsensical, because you don't deserve to be punished right now for the person that you were. Okay, down below there's a free guided meditation, a free breathing practice that you're more than welcome to sign up for. It's free, but you have to sign up. It will stoke up some bliss. It will snap you out of one of those moments when we're drawn into the past and that inner sting comes up as we judge ourselves in this moment for who we used to be. Again, down below, you're more than welcome to sign up for some one-on-one coaching. I can help you have a look at what beliefs are holding you in the pain that you're in. This is the dark night of the soul. We look for these beliefs, we find them. Once we ascertain these beliefs, we heal them. It's easier to do it with somebody else to help you, and if you wish, I'm more than happy to do that. There's the one-to-one coaching which you can sign up for below. And of course, down below, you can join in with the daily sadhana, the 5 breathing practices that I used if you're stuck in the dark night of the soul and you're scared about how long the time might take and you don't know what the right practices are. Well, these practices down below are specifically designed to get you out of the dark night of the soul, to increase your spiritual awareness around these limiting beliefs and remove them from you, like weeding the roots. Rooting the weeds, weeding the root. Oh, I don't know. Who cares anyway? Alright, thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day.